Hey traders, welcome to a new edition of the Crypto Lab every Thursday supplied by the Trading Analysis. Lots of subjects to talk about. I hope the sound is good and we are going to continue in that manner. I hope you are also all safe and sound. The COVID crisis is still raging around the world, but the vaccination process is takes in slowly in many of the countries, especially in the United States, some parts of the Europe, but it's still not in effect to be close to collective immunity. So I guess we will have 2021 still in many countries we will face lockdowns and hard economic reality. So let's start immediately. I want to speed this up because we have many subjects to go into. And I would like to start, as usual, with the news. We had many news last week in the crypto space and also from the Fed yesterday. So let me start first with the news. One of the things I noticed is this news which popped out a few days ago, that India is to propose a cryptocurrency ban penalizing minors traders. So India will propose a law banning cryptocurrencies and fining anyone trading in the country or even holding such digital assets. A senior government official told Reuters in a potential blow to millions of investors piling into the red hot assets class. You can read that, you can find it on Reuters by putting this in a Google search. So this is one of the things which, India is a very big market, a very big population, almost 1.3 billion people. So this initiative, I don't see for now coming into other countries. The other countries are more going towards regulating the crypto space. And since we have initiative from other countries to issue their own digital currencies, maybe they will lean more into a new economic development space as we see the blockchain is actually going to. So I don't know if they will go into this path, but this initiative in India, it will certainly reap a big chunk, at least temporary, of the potential cryptocurrency users. And as you can see, they will ban even owning digital assets or even mining it. So one of the things which many crypto proponents was afraid that country might do, and we see that now this initiative from India. On the other front, in the United States, we see that Morgan Stanley is the first bank offering a Bitcoin to its wealthy clients. So more on adoption base front. So there's a kind of a still mixed picture of different countries, what they're going to do around these cryptocurrencies. And this is maybe United States will take a progression towards regulating and developing it more than banning it. It's still left to see. I would also like to point you out to one interview which I looked on Real Vision. Real Vision does a good job on a macro front. They have many kind of a really smart guys which are looking the cryptocurrencies from different points of view, and this was a really good discussion of the two guys. One is very well versed as opposing the cryptocurrency from different aspects, and the other one, Anthony Pompilano, is actually advocating for Bitcoin. And this interview goes back and forth of these two guys, which are both of them have a kind of a reasonable things for the crypto space developing, and we go and switch completely into the blockchain space in a 10-20 years. And also the other guy, which is a Mike Green, is telling us some of the features which he thinks are quite kind of troubling for the Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to become widely used. So maybe you can look that. I think the things they're kind of propagating here has a real value, so you can wait. And my takeaway from this interview will be that I think it's still a long way for the widespread adoption. I get the store of value thing, which currently Bitcoin is used for. And down the road, we still don't know how this crisis will play out. Are we on the end game regarding the fiat currencies? What will happen in the future? Nobody actually knows. But I think cryptocurrencies are still in its beginning stage, and there is a lot of hurdles to overcome, and especially we need really this fiat system to collapse completely so we can switch on. So I think that both of them has valid points, and I think you should look this because it's very interesting arguments for and arguments against, especially Bitcoin. So let's dive into a little bit of a macro space. I will also point you to the 10-year yields, which are still going higher. We had a Fed meeting yesterday, and one of the things also I checked on this cryptocurrencies news, it's one of the analysts which are actually saying that the Bitcoin price get a Fed boost because of the still accommodative monetary policy, but the bond yields could play out and spoil sport this type of event. And I also agree with this, and I will show you on the charts what I see as always. So Jerome Powell yesterday reiterated a relatively mixed picture with the Fed allowing inflationary pressures to continue without actually intervening or get any sorts of a yield curve control on any other tool applying on the real rate. So we will see what will happen on that. I doubt the market will be so loosely play out on this reiteration of the Fed. To me, Jerome Powell was very contradictory in a sense. They said that they don't know what the future holds, but they will tolerate inflation above and around 2%, and we are already trading, as you can see, around 1.738 this morning. So we are coming to the very crucial level from this move in the rates higher. Equality is exactly here around 1.75, and if we start to move above this level of the resistance and further continuing on the upside, I think the situation will be much more heated on the yields and the bonds front because the next targets are pretty high and they are well above 2%. So I'm very interested to see what will happen in the next few days on these yields front, because we are facing a crucial two resistance lines. As you can see there was a previous resistance, kind of a consolidation before we went lower. And now we are also facing a very nice fib levels, which are actually a measured move or equality from this low. So I'm going to watch this very carefully and see how this will play out in the stock market. We cannot deny that from the liquidity reasons and also VIR reasons, or VAR, which is metrics where the funds are controlling their risk, can not influence the Bitcoin price. I think it can. Also, many of the stocks which are supplying the crypto market with the necessary components of sustaining the mining process, if they start to dive, I think that will also reflect on the Bitcoin price, which was proved in the last few years. So I will not be so at ease from several reasons to propone immediate upside on the crypto space. It might happen, but it's also limited to my view, and I will show you why. It's not that I'm against a bullish outlook on a Bitcoin. I'm going to stay very bullish, as I said, on a larger time frames, but I'm looking kind of to square potential corrections which might come and try to position myself accordingly. So let's look dollar index, which is also one of the things we need to look, especially because it's Bitcoin against the dollar. And yeah, I will make the graph larger. Sorry about that. So let me just show you these rates again. So this is the rates in a larger picture. Just to see for you better, I apologize for that. I forgot to enlarge the screen. So as you can see, equality is here. As I was saying, if we penetrate these two levels, things might get relatively heated. So let's go on the dollar index. As you can see, we fell pretty sharply on the Fed, but today we are back. And we are still consolidating in this area. If we see a break of this corrective channel and a move towards and above 93, I will become increasingly bullish on the dollar, looking for this relatively large corrective pullback, which might in the first leg go above 94, 95 levels. But I still want to see what is going to kind of occur here in this correction. If we go on a smaller time frame, you will see that dollar index is relatively indecisive. Market is trading within this corrective channel technically, and it's still kind of a sideways price action, and I really need some type of a breakout to sustainably be a long dollar, which is not the case now from the trading perspective. I still think we are in a no man's land. Easily I can do this fourth wave to be here in a counting process, and then consider dollar index go a little bit lower around the 88. 89 and 88 was our two primary targets. But we went up from these 89 levels on the upside, and if we continue, I think that the dollar will continue in its bullish kind of a revenge corrective pullback on the upside. As the gold is concerned, I will show you what I think also on gold. So gold is in still kind of a sideways markets because it also responded to the yields going higher, which is also the case today. We have this wave count and our support levels was reached, but the move on the upside was not so big yesterday. As you can see, we had some type of an impulsive wave on the upside, and then we had another some type of a five-wave move, which can be counted as an ABC. So potentially, maybe we're going to see another leg down. Maybe yields will go lower, and gold will start to move on the upside. I think it's still not fair to say that gold will easily recover if we don't see yields moving further lower. And also I have some alternate wave counts for a potential triangle. So I'm neutral on gold yet. As long as I see yields moving higher, I'm going to stay neutral on gold and not going to do anything in a trading sense, because I still need the confirmation that this potential correction is over, and I want to see a clear five-wave advance, and I want to see some of the resistance levels around this area potentially taken out to become more bullish on gold. So if you have any question on a macro front, please do, because I'm not going to go back into it. If you want to type in a question regarding this yield dollar gold question, please do, so I can respond immediately, because we are going to dive into cryptocurrencies in the next segment. Hey Adnan, I think the graph is fine now, so you see everything nicely. No response. Okay, I guess it's okay. Okay, so there is no questions regarding this macro outlook. So let's move to the Bitcoin. Let's see what is going on that front, and I will do a little bit an education, especially on the Elliott wave Fibonacci front. So I isolated this sequence from the December of 2018, which we count impulsively on the upside. One of the characteristics that we look in the Elliott wave, especially for these higher degree third wave targets, is several Fib ratios. And due to experience and a lot of application and a lot of statistics, some of these Fib ratios really work. So the first ratio we look in this potential projection on the upside is 100%, which means that this move on the upside after corrective pullback is equal here. And it is always a warning point if you get a drop from it, because this can only be an ABC move and you can finish lower, or it can be some type of a complex correction. So in the Elliott wave analysis, we usually do stage by stage confirmation, which give us more probability that our wave count can be correct, which is a bare hypothesis in the beginning. But one thing which doesn't change actually is these ratios, which are pretty fixed and which actually say to us that the expansion on the upside or on the downside of every assets class cannot continue forever. And that's why we are going to see some corrective pullbacks down the road, which will add fuel for a further move on the upside. So the second one, and statistically most common one, is the 1618 for the wave 3, which we passed. So we can erase these two levels because they're already well past. And we are left with the two levels, which I think is going to play a key role for the Bitcoin price. First one is 2 or 200, and the second one is 261.8. And the first one comes around 75,000, and the second one comes around 170 to 185,000. So my conviction currently is that this level will be the key for this third wave. I don't think we are in the environment we can add another 1 trillion immediately and go directly to this 170,000, 185,000 levels. I think eventually, following this kind of archetypal five-wave sequence, we will reach that eventually, but I don't think it's going to be an immediate push. Okay. Secondly, you have also a few other signs that we usually look. So first, you have this relatively nice trend line resistance. Many people will argue that trend lines are subjective. And yes, they are. How you can draw your trend lines is very subjective things. But in the Elliott wave world, when you want to put a real channel properly, you will do it from the wave 1 and the wave 2 correction, which you can see here. And as you can see, we are pretty much kind of trying to break this already 2 times without succeeding it. Okay, so as you can see, we tried twice, we didn't succeed. It doesn't mean we are not going to penetrate it a little bit on the upside, but this will be the key level. I will look on the larger time frame. I will show you on a smaller time frame what I see. But from there, I think we will enroll in some type of either sideway or a bit more directional correction in this fourth wave for some period of time. One thing that we already need to notice, it's also, this is a weekly chart, this divergence in the RSI, and this is almost a triple divergence. So It also can be a subjective, but it is something that you should not overlook so easily. So if you look the development of this here, we are getting higher highs and the RSI is posting lower highs here, which definitely means that the current trend is losing a little bit of its strength. Definitely the good thing for the Bitcoin is if the RSI starts to move kind of a sideways and then climbs again here. But if we see a drop of this 70 line, well, I think easily we can go to this 50, even to this 30 line before we start to move on the upside. My scenario is potentially we will go to this fifth line, we will do a minor degree fourth wave pullback, which I will show you on the smaller time frame, and then we will climb to this 75, 77 target, and then we will go in a further bigger corrective pullback before we go higher. So let me just summarize this. Since we use this methodology, there is some signs and some levels that we usually look for where we are at. So I'm not against the continuation of the bull trend in the Bitcoin. I think that as long as we are in this monetary mess, the Bitcoin will continue to play, especially if it is many countries goes to regulation rather than banning it. Bitcoin will play a kind of a digital store of value, and I really don't have anything against that observation. It is kind of proving now with the adoption of many institutions and even some of the pension funds, because people will like to protect their value of the either fiat assets or any other form of assets in this pretty much big mess that we are globally in, from the perspective of the fiat currencies and the central banks stimulus, also the fiscal stimulus. So people want to protect their value. That's completely fine. And Bitcoin, by its kind of a nature and its digital movability and also low fees on a transaction, really offers a good kind of a store of value feature, and I think that will continue. I'm just suggesting here that we need to pay attention on some key levels, technical levels, which we are getting into, and the 5-wave sequence is confirmed on many assets classes through the last, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 years. So the point of the many people are saying that Elliott wave, it's a methodology that doesn't work because many analysts are not agreeing and changing wave counts. So they are thinking first that markets are fixed, that they're expecting the fixed outcome, which is impossible. And secondly, I will say that really much depends on the one who is behind the tool. So if you have several analysts which are doing this, many of them can be good, many of them can be semi-good. So I think it's really on the one who is driving the tool, and I think very much that in trading analysis we are driving this tool very, very good. So in that respect, I think that we should pay attention on these warning signs on the Bitcoin. I will show you now a smaller time frame. So let me just quickly switch to a larger picture, and clearly you can see here that the Bitcoin is still bullish. This move on the upside on this weekly level has definitely qualities of the third wave, the angle of the ascent, the subdivisions. All of this is like is something which we like to see on the progression on the upside. So with this, everything is fine. Invalidation levels, something which we look as a guideline, no, as a guideline, as a rule, it's definitely far below at 12,000, and I don't think it's going to be reached. So I'm going to look for a little bit of minor corrections, as I explained just before a couple of minutes, but I just wanted to show you this larger perspective where we'll still think we are in this orange wave 3, which is kind of an expanding and confirming its presence on the upside. The final 1618 projection target, which we look for the wave 3 now on the higher degree of this development, comes around 156. It can stretch a little bit to 170 and this channel on the upside. So we will see that, but I'm just reiterating something which I emphasized a few minutes ago. What is the key ratio we look? Equality we passed, which was a 2000. This is a log scale. This advance doesn't look like anything in the arithmetic scale. So if you are looking the higher time frames, please switch on the log scale, because you will have a much clearer picture what is going on with the current subdivisions. So let's dive in on a smaller time frame, and there is an interesting development there which I will show you. So on a smaller time frame, if we start to kind of decompose what is going on here, and the Elliott wave is pretty much clear in this respect regarding the subdivisions. If you have the orange wave 3, it needs to subdivide on a lesser and even lesser degree into clear 5 waves, and we can see that here. But what is interesting to me is that if we go on this lesser degree, and we are going to go a little bit in a nitty-gritty, really technical, kind of a little bit advanced concepts. So the lesser degree 200%, 3 versus 1, which means how we can determine target for the possible orange wave 3, 200% would be looked on a higher time frame. For the 75% comes around 60,000. And also there is a trend line. So what we can see here is that exactly we saw this small corrective pullback from the 62,000 back to a kind of a 52, 53,000. And then now we are struggling to maintain these very important resistance levels. If we go and penetrate it, my next target will be around 74, 75,000, and that is the higher degree 200 ratio, which I already showed you on this wave count. So this will be potentially my final target for this wave 3. But on this smaller time frame, I noticed this ratio held very well, and I'm gonna kind of make a hypothesis, or I'm going to look what is going to happen here. Either we are going to consolidate a little bit and continue higher, but if we break this support around 53, 52,000, I think we will get some type of a corrective pullback. I still don't know which one it will be, but even if I drill on a smaller time frame, you can see that from these highs, exactly almost from this 200% on the lesser degree, we have a clear 5 waves down. Okay, it doesn't mean much. Anybody can say, okay, this will start to move on the upside, and then what you will do with these 5 waves. And I agree with that. I'm not telling that this will unfold like this. This is my hypothesis, but along the way, I have a clear signs where I want to be involved, potentially positioning on the short side in this kind of a setup. Okay, for now, I'm looking this 786 retracement, which is our key levels for a potential hold, and we are holding that for now. Equality between A, B, and C is a little bit overshoot. That's not a relatively big problem on this time frame. And then if I want to see some developments and projections, I want to see where is the equality at 1618 projection now on the other side. So I'm going to observe this, especially the point that we are going down now. And I want to see if this will develop impulsively to give me more reason to becoming, by a confirmation, more and more short on a Bitcoin for a corrective pullback. Okay, to support and key support levels stays at 53,269, and the other one is at 43,061. So the wave count invalidation is there. So even if I go short, my risk will be very small if I see some confirmation. So this will be my, usually we put our stops above this 786. And then my downside, at least to the first support and even second support, will be relatively big compared to my possible entry and stop loss. So the setup is there, in my view. I still need a confirmation, but the risk reward is clearly defined, which actually the Elliott wave tool is for. So what do you want? You want to have a clear defined risk, the probability of outcome, and actually markets are only about the probabilities. But it just differs between traders and analysts how you measure these probabilities and which methodology you use to weight your possible reasons to be short or to be long or sideways or whatever kind of a stance you have for the market observation. So what I want is to juggle between the probabilities, have a very clear defined risk reward ratio, and then I'm set for waiting a confirmation. I don't have any problem if the Bitcoin continues up. My original probability and hypothesis was wrong. I will switch on the upside and I have a next target. So I don't have problem being wrong. I just want to see where my probability of the current outlook is going to confirm and give me opportunity for a nice swing trade. So on the investment time frame, it's a completely different picture and many people doesn't understand that. So investing and trading is completely two different worlds where you behave completely differently in regards of risk, in regards of the time frame, and in regards of the quantity of the investment that you are involved in. So this will be my take on the Bitcoin. I'm still going to observe this zone, which is very highlighted here. I see dollar moves up, yields move higher. So I want to also search for some correlations, but I think I gave you enough of the reasons, except of the for more of a technical nature, except of a normal hype that Bitcoin will go to the sky unlimited without any corrections, so it's unstoppable. I mean, all of that is, I think, very unfounded claims. I see Bitcoin going higher. I don't have an issue with that, but claiming that we will go to some preposterous levels immediately, I think it's a kind of irresponsible. And I think that everybody who is in the markets long enough knows that the market doesn't function in that manner. So that is my reasoning. That is how I'm looking now what is going on. And of course, I'm always stand behind my observation. So I'm prepared to look for small confirmation and put a small trade with a very defined risk on a Bitcoin. Okay, so tell me, guys, what would you like to see? I can also look some of the other charts. As you know, I looked also the Binance coin. I think it is also a very good chart. I see this as a 1-2, 1-2. There is no degree violation here as I measured it. After this, the other secondary pullback, we are developing very impulsively, and you can see the same thing because the nature of the market is fractal, so we repeat all of these features, but it's a kind of a different puzzle. So if you like puzzles, Elliott Wave is an excellent tool. I think also see that this Binance coin is bullish. We are experiencing a little bit of sideways price movement. This is a weekly time frame. If you go on a daily, you will see we are kind of stalling here, taking some rest. But eventually, I think we will continue higher, either of a sideways or a little bit more bigger pullback on the downside. And basically has the same situation in this wave 3 development as some of the other cryptos. Also, I told you many times that Polkadot is one of my favorites, very clean pattern. And again, you will see some ratios that will look for a possible wave 3. targets, it is very clear pattern, at least to me. Potentially we are in a wave 3. This wave 4 can be a little bit longer, or it's finished here, or it's a triangle, a small pop, and then I think in some form of the other of the pattern, the bigger or larger degree wave 4 will take its place before we go another move on the upside, which will be pretty nice to catch. And I want to trade this one because I have these two targets which are very big, around 79 and 171 on the log scale for the Polkadot. After we see some bigger correction, where I want to be involved on the longer term basis on the upside. So I still find this a very, very beautiful kind of a fractal wave progression on the upside. Many people is asking me about the XRP. I really don't know, guys. I mean, from the Elliott wave perspective, when I'm in doubt, I don't even look at charts much because I really don't know what's going on. I have several hypotheses, but they're very far away from confirmation. The one is relatively bearish, which says we will come to this 0.15 levels in some type of a 1-2 and then continue on the upside. On the other one, if we are bullish, I want to see some type of a leading diagonal here. So I want to see an advance in XRP on the upside. And if I see that, I will become increasingly bullish after a small correction that the XRP will continue on the upside. So for me, XRP is now not on a tradable list for the swing trade because I'm in the mist here. I don't know if it's going to go up or down. And for that reason, like they say in a Shark Tank, I'm out. I don't want to look at it, and I don't want even to consider it because the picture is not clear. Okay. I already looked DOT swag. I hope you see it. Yes, we're gonna look Theta. No problem. Let me look some other also cryptos for you guys. Everybody's asking also about this Litecoin, and I think it's pretty much developing in the same pattern. So if you can see from that perspective on the bullish outlook, Litecoin didn't develop any impulsive 5 waves on the upside. We are in a 3-wave feature, possibly one more triangle. So still sideways consolidation, okay? No clues. We have a fine 5 waves down, a little corrective pullbacks. So we didn't see Litecoin react on the upside so impulsively after this Fed announcement. Actually, it made just a little bit of a pop on the upside and then sideways. Also, this is a non-tradable market for me. I don't. I'm going to observe it, but I'm not going to trade because the pattern is in the consolidation sideways. I don't want to be trapped in some longer-term triangle, suffering and not clear on my risk reward. So Litecoin is still a sideways market from the trading perspective. ADA. Okay, so ADA is going on a coin base today. As you can see, the same picture. I have several fib ratios here. So the only thing where you can have some type of a mismatching is this when you count this lesser degree wave developments, but the 1618, 200 inequality stays the same always. As you can see, this is clearly a third wave development. I'm going to say that 618 might hold. Looking at the current projection, maybe we're going to climb a little bit more up. Maybe this is a lesser degree and we see a pullback here. But I think that ADA is in the stage where it's going to be also very close to this regular 1618. The place to be in ADA was somewhere around here or past equality. I think this stage in the third wave sequence is already very close to potential. I will be involved in ADA only if my hypothesis that we're going to do a larger degree fourth wave pullback will actually develop, I will be happy to explore the potential trade on the upside. Here, it's a little bit too developed for me. Here, I would like to take a trade. So that will be my take on ADA. Let's see some of your requests. What would you like to see? Okay, I will just look for the sushi swap. I don't know if you looked the beginning of our crypto labs. You can go back there on the YouTube. We were looking for ADA to continue higher, either from here or a little bit lower, but actually this was the lowest point. So if you subdivide this, this is in a 1-2, 1-2, so wave 3 developed on the upside. Massive gains on the sushi swap from this spot. We identified these support zones. I think we are coming to the 1618 projection, and that we are going to relatively soon go in this fourth wave pullback, where it's going to be my kind of an interest zone to look for this fifth wave development. So I think that the upside is still not over. I think we're gonna be a little bit in a bumpy road, but overall, from the investing point, currently not from the trading point, sushi is still gonna go further on the upside. Recomi Matic. Okay, let's look Matic. Okay, so we had the wave count on Matic, which is developing nicely. This can be 1-2, 1-2, but I take only this this sequence just to, I think one of our members on the webinar asked it. So if you can see, the progression is going very well on the upside. The sign of the third wave presence is actually there because we have a very nice verticality on the upside. So this is definitely a third wave. So if we do some of the fib ratios and we see some of the zones where we can come out with, first one is 2618, which is relatively big on the upside. Sorry about that, I will have to close this. So potentially small pullback, and then this will be my next target, but definitely a bullish development on the larger time frame. Even if you do this wave count, even from this sequence, you will get this as a 1-2, 1-2, and then Matic is looking nice from that perspective. Sometimes these waves here are not easy to capture, so I will look Matic still to develop relatively bullish on the upside. We have a third wave presence, third of the third. So we will decompose this one exactly like this again, and then search for possible targets on the wave 3. So I will say Matic is developing nicely. Small bumps on the road, nothing big. From the investing side, from the trading side, potentially fourth wave might be a good entry for this possible fifth wave development, which also kind of agrees with the Binance coin and overall Bitcoin, although these all are in a different stages of their maturity of the trend. Okay, but overall they agrees with some type of a shorter term corrective pullback. If you look Theta, Theta is developing nicely. This sequence from lows, and I said last time, if we count this as a 1-2, because you can kind of find 5 waves here, and this might be a 3-wave pullback. We didn't cross these lows, or even if we start to count from here, Theta is still bullish. I think it is going to develop either to these levels on the upside, or if you go in a smaller degree, we might experience a smaller correction. But I think Theta eventually will climb to these levels before a bigger correction occurs. But still, I don't see a 5-wave sequence finished counting from here, and that is very important. And I think Theta is going to stay, but as I say, guys, I mean, try to look the markets and non-linear things. You have to kind of look from the different perspective that markets cannot be a linear things to develop. So Humans has a kind of a habit to look things in a linear fashion. We don't understand higher cosmic laws that always interrupts any development and it's kind of a challenging it. So from the perspective or even a philosophical thing, it is quite natural for some of the projects, companies to always be challenged in some way of their ascent on the upside or even descent to the downside. So you have to take this in a perspective that nothing goes in one direction. Even our human activity or a state activity never follows for the long time a straight line. Okay, so let's go and see Anchor. I never looked at this one. Okay, so relatively clear picture, and I will also demonstrate to you why I was saying that everything is who is behind the wheel. So if you look just this sequence here, it is clearly it is a 5-wave sequence. So if you see the wave development, you will actually very well identified here something which you can actually define as two distinctive corrections, okay, and you have it there. So you can subdivide this into a 5-wave move from the lows. We can also throw in some fib ratios to kind of confirm the previous kind of a thesis that some of these ratios will actually unfold. So let's look for 1618. Let's look also for 2618, which is here already. So as you can see, the wave 3 came exactly at 1618 and the wave 5 came exactly 2618. This exactness is not particular also. You should not look for an exact. It happens sometime, but it's not really so common. You can overshoot, of course. But as you can see here, if you make this smaller wave analysis and projections, you will see that these wave ratios are usually work and kind of a support idea that markets functions in this non-linear development. Okay, so what we can do this on a higher time frame, it's the same. We need to go over this equality on the higher time frame. So what we'll do, we will take some of our tools and we will extend it on the upside. So equality here is around there, so we are very close to equality. So as I always say, I want to see this equality passed, because this is always a danger when you have this parallel channel. Actually, the breakout out of the equality on the higher degree wave target, it's going to signify you that the bullish trend will continue, and that's a pretty much sure sign in my experience. So for now, I will wait the breakout and then a continuation on the upside. What we actually see that on one of our projections on BAT. So BAT violently went out of these consolidation levels and now is heading for this wave 3 target, which we had. And some of our members noticed that after we put it this wave structure, now we are kind of developing. We might see a pullback and kind of a kiss of this trend line before we go up in this third wave. So the breakout is obvious. So we have to look for the continuation after a small corrections in this respect. Rose. I never looked Rose. A very nice wave pattern. Yeah, potentially 5-wave move is over, and you can see that immediately. So we can clearly identify that the potential move on the upside is going to take some of the fib ratios. Potentially this is wave 3, 4, and 5. Even if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for this wave 3, we will see our ratios, but anyhow, the move down is probably going to occur in this one in both cases. So that is what is I like with the Elliott wave. Even if you are not certain to which degree of a trend you should put your wave count, you can clearly see that in either case we reached here 2618. I doubt we will go further. I think we will see some type of fourth wave correction before we go further on the upside. I will look fourth wave to be similar or little bit more in time as this second wave, and if you subdivide this further, you will see that you have a very clear sequence here. So if you put this on a different degree, and if you count this, you don't see an overlap here. So this is a sign, and even if you do on this smaller degree wave count fib ratios, you will see that we reached almost 1618 for the wave 3. So if somebody say to me that this ratios doesn't work, I mean, you can go to numerous and numerous examples of a wave progression, or if you don't need to call it waves, just a progression of the development, and people which don't kind of acknowledge this, they still think in a more linear than non-linear market development, which is I think a very well now known between a knowledgeable community that markets are non-linear phenomenon. Okay, let me look one more, and then we will finish this update. Hit the like button, guys. Also, if you like to join us and learn more about the Elliott wave, the leader of the trading analysis is Todd Gordon. He is a very well-known and renewed Elliottian. He is using also some other add-ons for this methodology, but you can find numerous courses here on our website, very professionally done, which you can see and teach yourself if you're interested in the Elliott wave. Also, there is a Bennett and Terry, which are also very profound in this methodology. I'm covering crypto and forex, crypto space that we have. It's very vast. We have a members webinar, crypto trade desk. We do trade swing trades. And we also have a chart room and very well Discord channel where we have a very nice community of members, very knowledgeable about the cryptos. I'm very happy with the membership we have. We also share charts and news here, so it's a very active group. And we also have a cryptocurrency repository where you can have the wave counts if you have a multi-wave, our preferred platform, which allows us to do wave counts very fastly and cover many markets. You can have them also for, I think, $20 or a little bit more, replicated immediately as I do them on my multi-wave. You can have them through the cloud replicated on your multi-wave. And then also we have a stock service that Todd, Bennett, and Terry are covering very successfully. So if you like to see, you can take a trial membership. If you want to have an education about all of this, what I have been talking about regarding Elliott waves, we all have 10 plus 15 years experience in markets. So we are not some mumbo jumbo group which are proclaiming something on the YouTube. We are a very well established team and a very strong team in this methodology and experienced in trading. So if you want to learn and kind of speed up your learning curve and pass some mistakes that we do in the past, you can find everything here in trading analysis. So let me look the last one. This is okay. So it's Luxo, as I get it correctly. Jesus Wrangle, did I get it correctly? I think it's this one. Yeah, we already had that one. And as you can see, the projection went to this 1618. So we were looking for a higher move for this wave 3. We looked for a little bit of pullback, which didn't occur, but it's completely fine. We have to just, I think I didn't look that one for much more of the time. So this is the subdivision that potentially I will do when you have the wave 1 and 2 and 3 equal the wave 5. So I will say that the third wave is finished here. Potentially we are going to go in some type. As you can see, we reached 1618. We overshoot it a bit. So increasingly, I will be worried either from here or a little bit more upside that the fourth wave will start to unfold. Okay, so be careful on this one. The RSI is moving lower, so we might say a little bit of a corrective pullback before we start moving on the upside. So I like to be involved, as you can see, in a very specific levels. When I'm trading a swing trade, when I'm investing, that's a completely different story. So that's why I'm saying people have to decide what they want to do in their investing or trading perspective. For me, this one, it's going to be for expecting a corrective pullback, and that I will consider a possible entry for a swing trade on these levels already. Okay, guys, hit that like button, which will help us for the visibility. I think today's Crypto Lab is very informative on a very several and a very key points. So maybe you should, like, if you're interested in this type of how we observe market, look at this again, because I really gave lots of information how the perspective and developments of markets in sequences might appeal to your mind as it appealed to mine one, because I was immediately hooked on this type of market observation. And you also have a lot of information regarding the 10-year yield and some of the things which might influence even a Bitcoin. I think we really put it well where we think the Bitcoin is. I think you should maybe even consider to look this one time more. If you like to join us, you know the place, tradinganalysis.com. You can take a trial to see what we do, and see you next Thursday, where I think situation will be much more clearer. And of course, I will inform you of the even some positions that we might take in between. So stay well, stay healthy, watch out for yourself, and see you next Thursday. And hit the like button for us. I think we very well deserve it. So see you guys next time, and watch out for the next Crypto Lab with Alex on the Trading Analysis YouTube channel. Hey Dogen, yeah, we started earlier today because of the time difference. We will have for 2 weeks. We had the daily saving lights, daylight saving, saving lights, daylight saving in the US. So for 2 weeks, it's going to be 1 hour earlier. If you just joined, you can just look. It's going to be on YouTube very soon. As soon as I end the stream, you can look at it and drink coffee. Okay, see you guys next week. Bye bye.